Certainly, there's always room for improvement, and even this scheme could have been made better. So the most important challenge, however, would be to address the uncertainty. Like I answered in response to one of the questions, the biggest problem for any amnesty scheme is the uncertainty. And that's not just the uncertainty about the amnesty, it's also the general uncertainty about the general economic condition and the country. So the lower the uncertainty, the more successful the amnesty scheme would be. Well, the good thing is that the Prime Minister still enjoys tremendously in terms of trust in his personal integrity and has somewhat a charisma, but the general atmosphere, the economic atmosphere of uncertainty is damaging. Unfortunately, this is mostly stemming from an unaccountable spree of speculation on media and negative reporting. Somebody shared with me the clip. I won't be naming any channel, it's against the professional ethics, but somebody shared with me the screenshot of a mainstream media channel claiming that the government is shutting down the money exchanges from next week. Yeah, a mainstream news channel. Okay, I just pulled a few strings and I was told it's totally wrong. And within a few minutes, it was on social media. They issued the clarification, it's totally wrong. And the interesting thing is there was no such announcement made by anyone. What happened was there was a fake social media account of the finance minister, and whoever was running that fake account put out a tweet on that. And this mainstream media channel actually ran an entire news story of such huge ramifications without verification based on that false social media tweet. So now what happens in general is, as soon as the news hit the business circles, there was more uncertainty. Because understand what would happen. If the exchanges were to close, a lot of smuggling of the currency and money laundering would start. There would be more uncertainty about the currency. The value of rupee would plummet even more, and it would create more of a chaos. So people don't understand these economic ramifications. They think at times that it is patriotic to lie and spread a rumor, thinking it might be good, and then responsible institution who should properly be regulated and should be verifying news before running them do that, unfortunately, without verification. So this actually result in huge speculation and a huge atmosphere of uncertainty, which is very damaging. So coming back to the point, let us recall, as I've shared with you, that the last amnesty scheme only really took off when the Chief Justice announced that the court was not to review it, leading to the confidence of the potential declarants. So firstly and most importantly, the uncertainty would need to be curbed for this scheme to be successful. Secondly, the relevant authorities need to run public campaigns and demonstrate that they have the information gained through OECD multilateral convention about Pakistani residents' offshore accounts. Why? And where would this lead? Remember, I told you that nobody in the world likes to pay taxes on their own. It has to be a cost-benefit analysis, a stick and carrot policy. While you are giving an incentive on the financial term that you are able to pay very low taxes and legitimize your affairs, what is the penal clause? What if they don't? That is the important question. There has to be a system where people should be aware that if they do not avail this last opportunity, now the databases are being integrated. Information is being obtained from partner countries under the OECD multilateral convention, and it would be used to run a drive to ensure that anybody who does not avail the amnesty after its deadline and still have illegitimate wealth, then using that information and the laws of the land, including the Bainami Act and the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2010, would be prosecuted and their properties confiscated. Do that and see the success rate of this amnesty. Because the carrot alone would still, entice a few, but not all. In order to have maximum success, you need to not only design it smartly, enforce properly, but also have a proper scheme to address the other end of the spectrum, the enforcement. Those who do not avail this amnesty scheme will be held accountable by the taxman. Do that and see the success. So as I was saying, the relevant authorities, FPR and the Finance Ministry would need to run public campaigns and demonstrate that they have the information gained via OECD multilateral convention about Pakistani residents' offshore accounts, and are further strengthening the mechanism to launch a compliance drive immediately following the amnesty. Announcement of such a compliance drive with details of the penalties and timelines. It has to be specific. There's no trust without being specific. It should be so much specific that even the timeline and penalties of such a enforcement drive should be announced. And it should be widely publicized in the print and electronic media as well as on social media. And along with the curbing of uncertainty, this can and will lead to the success of the scheme. Don't do that, and you won't be able to achieve the result you desire. So with that, this is the end of the session. We can take any questions that you have now. And for some reason, they forgot to put on my contact detail, my staff. So as I promised with you, not a problem. I'll just do the next best bit. I'll share with you the magic tip. Just write my name, Omer Zaheer Meer, on your Google or whatever browser you use. You'll be brought to my WordPress blog. It's omerzaheermeer.wordpress.com. You have all my contact details there. You can send me an email, WhatsApp. Even if you have any query that is more personal, you can't discuss it here about the amnesty, you can ask that later on too. So, any questions?
Mohammed Ahmed has asked if the amnesty particularly disallows illegally earned money to be declared under the scheme, then why is it considered to be a tool of money laundering by opposition parties?
Am I allowed to answer that? Arvind is smiling here. Okay, I'll try to answer that as non-politically as is possible. Well, politics is a game of perception. How many people actually bother to read the document? And how many of those who read it are actually able to understand? You guys are very lucky. You are highly educated. You are ACCAs. Then your body, ACCA, cares for you. It's organizing these sessions. But you are a small fraction. You'd be probably 0.001% of the total population who understand these facts and figures and these things. For general population, the majority of whom is illiterate, the rhetoric is what counts. Create a perception, make a rhetoric, do it sufficiently enough, and do it continuously to a level that people start believing it, and then you can achieve the political mileage. That's the best answer I can give. Next. So I think that was within the professional angle without being political. Yes.
Zaheer Ahmed has asked, does this mean anyone possessing undeclared prize bonds, gold, would have to sell them and deposit the proceeds in a bank account?
See, you are getting the hang of it now. Exactly.
Abdul Rahman has asked, if a person lives outside Pakistan and sends remittance through a proper banking channel to his brother or relative to purchase any property on his behalf, but on his own name, not a Benami case, but haven't filed income tax returns, in this case still he needs to go for amnesty, or filing his return will be sufficient, showing the wealth of properties as opening balance in the return.
Okay, so just to make sure I correctly understood your question, there is a person who is sending foreign remittance to his family here in Pakistan. They are doing it properly through banking channel, and for that they are sending foreign currency, which is encashed in Pakistan into local currency, and then that local currency is used to buy property in their name. Okay, in that case, if you go through the session we ran on the income tax return filing, that is available on ACCA's GoToWebinar channel. I have shared that there, that one of the requirements to have NTN and file the tax return is if you hold a property above a certain area in Pakistan, which is very small area. So for all practical purposes, yes, you fall within that ambit. And if you have the property in Pakistan, you should have applied for an NT and should have been filing your tax return. If you haven't done that, you can do one of the two things. You can file the tax return for the previous year and file the return, but then you'll still have that sword hanging over your head that FPR can start your audit. Why were you not doing that when the time was due? Or if you don't want that uncertainty, we being human beings, business persons, hating uncertainty the most, then you can avail this amnesty, and that would be the end of it. No question. Next.
Okay, Mubin Imtiaz is asked if I have purchased a property from amount given by my brother, taken on my name because he's not in Pakistan.
Okay, so it's a different scenario. Amount given by brother taken on my name because he is not in Pakistan. Yes. Now you need to clarify how the amount was given, whether it was given locally or it was a foreign remittance sent to you. If it was a foreign remittance, was it sent to you through proper banking channel in foreign currency in cash in Pakistan, or was it sent to some other way, hawala, or somebody brought it by hand or whatever? Please clarify that so I'll be able to guide you. Next.
Muhammad Hamza Khan is asked, just to confirm, gold and precious stones can't be declared, right?
Yes.
I think people are asking about how will they be able to claim verifiable CPD by attending this webinar. So I think that needs to be shared with them. It's very simple. We have a complete record of how many people attended, for how long were they in the session, etc., etc. We will send out certificates of participation through email to all the participants, and at the same time, we will share the handouts and the video recording of this webinar with the participants, hopefully by tomorrow. So using the certificate of participation, you can claim verifiable CPD, for this webinar. It's a simple process. Go to your My ACCA account, look for CPD returns, and in there you have the complete process available where you to tell whether this was relevant to you, how will this be relevant, how will you apply it in the workplace, and is there an evidence available? So you answer these questions, then you will automatically get credit.
Fantastic. And we have some questions coming up.
Yeah.
Sayyid Faraq Iqbal Naqvi has asked, I would like to ask a broader question regarding...
No. First, Mubin. Mubin has said it's come through banking channel 50%. And other 50% is through hawala. So the banking channel 50% is fine. You need to declare that in your income tax return. Again, if you haven't filed your income tax return already for the relevant period, then you would have that song over your head. You can open your audit still. For the other hawala 50%, definitely the amnesty. You need to avail that. You might even want to consider availing amnesty 50% if you did not timely declare that. Again, best share your specific situation and circumstances. Shoot me an email and I'll guide you. G, next.
Faraq Iqbal is asked, I would like to ask a broader question regarding Pakistan's tax culture. What steps do you think to be taken at the macro level to improve Pakistan's tax culture?
Well,
yeah,
it's a full-fledged debate and perhaps a full day session at a minimum. Go to my Twitter. I have a poll running till a little after iftar time today. It has given you 3 options of my next write-up. One of them is exactly the topic that you have asked me the question for. Just cast your vote for this option, and fingers crossed, if that gets the highest number of votes, my next article will be on that. It would be published on the weekend and shared on the blog site.
I think alongside that, ACCA's budget proposal also gives recommendations on how the tax
next thing. Yeah. I was about to say that. ACCA has sent its budget proposals They have been publicized as well, and detailed copy of them will be released to the members, I think, after Eid.
Yes, yes.
We'll be releasing the detailed copies of the budget proposals after Eid. So you'll be able to see a lot of steps to broaden the tax base, to improve the confidence of taxpayer, to reduce the subjective powers that create so much of harassment, and other steps that can be taken at the macro level, including the reforms, structural reforms, which can lead to an improvement in the Pakistan's tax culture. Next year.
Khwaja Sadmi has asked, is it a good option for non-filers to utilize this amnesty scheme to become a filer, or use the normal route and start by declaring of last year's?
But yes, sir, it would depend on your individual circumstances. I mean, one size doesn't fit all. So again, I would suggest do consult professionals with all your specific information, and they'll be better suited to guide you. You can even send me an email. My detail will be available on my blog site, ozmeer@mlcc.pk, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Next year.
Adnan and Qasir.
Why are you missing Fazan Ali?
Fazan Ali said that thanks for such a good session. And Nadeem Ibrahim said thanks for such a superb session.
I wanted to get the questions and then.
No, pass all the comments. They are important for the motivation of all of us, including the participants.
Nabil Ibrahim says, thanks for such a superb session. Adnan and Qasir asked how to become a tax expert like Omer Zaheer Meer.
That's very kind of you. Well, Adnan, the same way you become an expert in any other field, ACC equip you with all the necessary knowledge. Choose the field you want to work in. If tax is your bit, then start working with someone who is really good. Start getting practice, focus on it, and just like doing all the other things you would in any other field, you should be able to do that. Next.
I think this next question has already been answered by Nuruddin
Bimani.
Yes. Faisal Manzoor says, brilliant session. Ghulam says it was quite informative. Thanks. Waqas Ahmed says, great job. It was really informative.
You are most welcome, guys. Thanks for your kind compliments.
Mohammed Aurangzeb says, thank you. Thanking you for such an informative session. Good to listen to you.
You're most welcome. Thanks for attending.
Adil Ahmed says, thanks, really informative session. Bilal Awan says, good session, Sir Omer. You are really helping members in getting tax expertise.
You're most welcome. There is a comment for Harun too. You just missed that. Sayyid Falak Iqbal Makbi said, for Harun, is there any budget 2020 webinar in the pipeline? Falak, isn't that like, I think he means on our pre-budget proposals.
Post-budget. So
we can do
running post-budget sessions. We will be running tax sessions on how to file your tax returns, etc. So all these are in the pipeline, just as the real season for taxation begins.
Just wait until after the Eid, and you'll get your desires.
Storm of taxation webinars.
Arabia says, great job, sir. Gurrez says, looking forward
Thank
to
you.
the next sessions, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Ishtiaq Ahmed says, thanks, Omer Zaheer Saab. It's been a great learning through your webinar as always. Irfan
Most welcome.
says, once again, learned a lot.
That's great. So let's close with a note of thanks. Thank you guys for taking out the time for today's session. I hope you all find it not only entertaining, but also a very good learning. And I would like to thank the entire team of ACCA, Harun Saab, Iman, and all of you guys and all the support staff for this session. Inshallah, we'll be doing a session on the rules once they are formulated. And as always, ACCA will keep on taking lead in bringing to you in a timely fashion the important topics that are important in professional development of our members and the profession and for the professionals in general as well. So with that, thank you very much. Have a nice evening and a good iftar. Take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.